Okay, your Maskcara Beauty makeup arrived. Let's talk about how to apply it. Grab your compact and your brush. For the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to just use the 30-second hack brush. That's typically what people start with, so we'll start there. Okay, if you were matched to a color corrector, we're gonna start with that. So let's say maybe you have redness and brown spots like I do, or maybe you have dark under eye circles or brown age spots. If I gave you a color corrector, we're gonna start with that. If I only matched you to a main highlight, feel free to fast forward a little bit to that part. Okay, so for your color corrector, use the pointy end of your 30-second hack, just tap a little bit in and start dabbing that onto the section that needs coverage. We're gonna work in really light layers, so a little bit of cream goes a long way. Don't feel like you have to really pack it on. Just put a little bit. It doesn't even have to fully cover it because we're gonna go back over with our main highlight color. The job of the color corrector is just to put kind of like a veil over it and to even things out. See how already that's just kind of covering up my redness, but you can still see a little bit of it there. That's totally fine. We want to work in light layers. It's going to keep the makeup feeling just like our skin and keeping it from feeling cakey. So see how if I pull back a little bit, that's really evened things out, but didn't necessarily cover it completely. That's not the job of the color corrector. Okay, I've got a lot of redness, so I've got to hit up a bunch of spots. I'm going to tap a little bit in under my eye to cover up that veinage, and put a little bit here, cover up those main red areas. Okay, that's your color corrector. If you only are spot treating with your color corrector, feel free to just go in and dab with your finger, or if you got the detail hack brush, this is a really good end to use. You can just like spot treat. Okay, let's move on. Now we're gonna go into our main highlight. If you are working out of a quad where it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, that's gonna be your lighter color. So sticking with this end of the 30-second hack, sorry, I have a hair in my mouth. Okay, we're gonna just dab in again. Remember, light layers, you don't need to grab a bunch. Let's start under our eye and we're just gonna stipple. This is a really delicate area of the skin, so you don't wanna be hard on it. Just stipple it in. You can even give your eyelid some coverage just to even it all out. Another spot you want to put your highlight is on your chin, under your nose, on top of your nose, along your jawline. Now if you put color corrector somewhere on your face, when you go over that with your main highlight, dab it in. If you swipe, you're gonna swipe off that first layer of makeup. So really stipple. This is my most stubborn area with my redness, so I really just press it into my skin. But if you didn't have that, this would be a great chance to just really slap this makeup on and you can move the process along really quickly. So the nice thing about the 3D foundation is you only have to put color in certain areas. You don't have to put it everywhere. It's how we can do our makeup so fast. So your highlight is gonna go under the triangle, under your eye, on your nose, up into your forehead and over your brows and along your jawline. You don't have to cover your whole cheek because your contour is gonna go here and your contour has coverage. So you only have to put it in certain spots. I like to fully cover my cheek just because I have such bad redness. I just like a little bit fuller coverage. But for most people, you can skip this step and just move right on. Okay, let's do the other side. Highlight goes under the eye. See how you can just smack this on? You can blend as you go, or you can blend at the end. I'll show you how to do both. So I blend as you go, you just move it with the brush and blend it out. But if you wanted to, you could literally just do this, leave it as that, and at the end go in with your perfector sponge and blend it out that way. I'll show you more on that in a minute. Okay. So along the jawline, under the eyes, on the nose, and the bottom part of your forehead. And that's our highlight. Pretty much you want highlight to be in this triangle. We'll call it the triangle of light. You're bringing light to the center of your face where all your beautiful features are. Let's flip the brush over. We're going to do contour. Contour is not as scary as it sounds, and you can do it in as simple as 3 lines. I'm going to show you. Let's tap into our contour. That's going to be this darker color with the butt end of our brush. And you're going to start at the top of your ear and feel for that cheekbone. Mine is right here. I'm going to go just underneath it. Oh, look, I made a mark. Okay, right there. So we want to think about angling it from the top of your ear to the corner of your mouth, stopping at your pupil or your iris, that corner of your eye. Going too much further in brings you into those smile lines, and you don't want to create a shadow here. And that's what contour does. It's just creating a shadow. So that's 1 line. Do it on the other side. And then you're going to draw a line pretty much from temple to temple. Now, if you have a very small forehead, you could really skip this step. You really don't have to contour. But all it's doing is creating a shadow. And then you can just blend it back into your hairline. It's creating a shadow, which means that the lighter part, the lighter color, is here. And that's going to bring focus to your eyes. Okay. Now, the nice thing about creams is, see how I got a little crazy and went low there? I can just flip back over to the side that has my highlight and take that away. All right, now to blend out these lines, always blend your contour on your cheekbones up and back. You don't want to blend it down because you don't want to bring that shadow down. It's going to bring your face down instead of giving it a nice lift. So blend it up and back. And if you need to, clean it up with your highlight side. Right? Okay, now the other 3 lines you can do is under your jawbone, and I suggest to do this with whatever excess is left on your brush. Don't dip back into your contour for this because you want this to just be a very fair, faint line. You don't want it to be too intense, but this is just going to create a shadow under your jaw and give you a nice defined jaw. And then always just blend that down your neck a little bit so you don't have a too harsh of a line there. Okay? Last 2 lines are the sides of your nose. Totally optional, but if you want to give your nose a more slender look, dip into your contour and then squeeze that butt end of your brush. It's just going to give you a little bit more of a defined line, and then just run that down the sides of your nose. It's just going to accentuate a shadow on the side of your nose, and it'll leave a little bit of light in the center, so you can tap back into your main highlight and drag that line down the center of your nose, which will make that look narrow. So we've created a shadow on the side. We're highlighting the center, giving us a little bit more slender of a bridge. And we'll blend those out in a minute. Okay, contour's done. That's it. Now let's move on to blush. So I'm going to use Summer Love, and I'm going to use that same butt end and just tap in. Okay, here's a tip for blush. You want to smile or grin and see those apples of your cheeks. I suggest going in from a downward angle as opposed to straight on. It's just going to give you pink down here as opposed to up here in your under eye area that we really don't want to make look pink. So just smile and tap in, and you can even tap it back a little bit. Now the nice thing about the blush being a cream is that it's buildable or blendable. So if you didn't get enough on there, tap more on. If you put way too much on and it's just like bam, there's blush, you can blend it out so easily. So that's our blush. And then if I matched you to a brightener highlight, this is just a little extra step that I love to do that just gives it a little bit more of a pop. So especially if you suffer with dark under eye circles, this is a great step. Or if you just want to look 5 more hours of rest, like you had 5 more hours of rest. So I'm going to tap into Aura, that's my under eye color, and just dab that on top and down in that pie piece. And you could do this before the blush if you want. Doesn't really matter. Really, the order is totally up to you. If you want to start with contour first, go for it. And then I like to tap a little bit of that brightener there and on my forehead. It's just going to make the center of my face glow a little bit more because it's just that much lighter. Okay. Now take your beauty blend, or sorry, your perfector sponge, and you're just gonna tap it into your face. This is just gonna marry all those colors we just put on. Okay, and you don't wanna be swiping. Again, we don't wanna be wiping off our makeup, we're just pressing it in. You can even press and roll. But it's just gonna take away any harsh lines, blend all those colors together for a really seamless look. And look how dimensional my face is. It's got some nice life in it from the blush, some brightness from the highlight, and some nice dimension from that contour. Okay, and now we're just gonna finish off with a little illuminator. So I'm going to use Honey. I just tap in with my finger. I smile again and just tap it on top of that cheekbone and then kind of go up the cheek. You could apply this with your finger, with a brush, with your perfector sponge. I prefer the finger just because it's such a light, quick thing. I can just tap it right in and then I can blend out any fingerprints or whatever with the perfector sponge. And that's it. A few other places I like to put the illuminator are under the brow bone, just to highlight that. On my Cupid's bow, give my lips a little pop. I also like to just dab it on the inner corners of my eye to bring a little light there. One more way to make yourself look awake. And then sometimes I'll run it down the bridge of my nose, and maybe even on the end, just to give kind of a dewy look. And then one more thing you can do with your contour, you can tap in with your finger and use it for eyeshadow. That's like the quickest, easiest eyeshadow look you could possibly do. And it's all in that one compact. And the cream just smudges it right on. It's a really great natural and neutral eyeshadow. You can also use the blush for an eyeshadow if you want a pinky look. And don't forget, your blush color is really a lip and cheek color. So use it for blush and use it for your lips. Okay, and we are done. That is your easy 3D foundation look. Remember that cream needs to be set. I love using our Stay Spray. Just a couple spritzes and you're good to go. If you're someone that's super oily, you can feel free to use that and a powder, or just use a setting powder if you want. I also love to use this as a primer. Since I am more oily, I'll spritz it on first and then do my makeup. I just find it helps everything stay a little bit longer. Okay, a couple of troubleshooting items. If you find that the makeup looks cakey, you may be putting too much on. With cream, a little bit goes a long way. So next time just use a little bit less, or in the meantime use your perfector sponge and just blend. This is great at blending, but also just smoothing out any excess. If you find that the makeup looks really textured or like it's breaking, or if it's too yellow, that's just a color match issue. So let me know and we'll find you the right match. I know how frustrating it is if the color is not right. The first time I was matched, the color was off, it looked really yellow, and it like cracked a lot under my eyes. So I got rematched and found the perfect color for my skin tone, which was just so refreshing. So never fear, we will get you the right color. You can return any of the makeup within 30 days or exchange it within 90. So there's no risk in just giving it a try. yeah, if you find the makeup is slipping off, use the Stay Spray to really set your makeup. Use a translucent powder. I found that when you switch to cream foundation, your skin typically needs to adjust a little bit. If you've used liquid foundation, think about it this way. It goes on wet, but then it dries. So it's really sucking the moisture out of your skin, and your skin's producing more oils to bring that moisture back. So when you switch to the cream, which is more hydrating, your skin is still in that oil production mode and has to kind of regulate to the cream, so it doesn't have to produce as much oil. So my skin took about 1 to 2 weeks to really kind of settle with the makeup, and I don't have to set with powder anymore. So that is what I have for you. I hope you love this makeup. If you have any issues or questions, please reach out to me. Join our Facebook group, and you'll see more tutorials and more videos there. All right, get out there, gorgeous, and enjoy your makeup.